Good morning, everyone. It's Vincent here, and you're welcome to this series. I'm really glad you've decided to join this series. We're going to learn a lot, building this project, and have fun while at it. The plan for this program is to have you be at a very strong junior developer level or even early intermediate, and to be able to actually to be confident enough to apply for jobs and go to those interviews and ace them based on what we'll be learning in this 2 month program. So for this program, we're going to focus on building an entire application end to end. So that's going from our first MVC project, from an empty MVC project file, all the way up to completing the app on our system and actually hosting it in the cloud, right? So instead of it just being on your system, you can give the URL to different people and have them actually use the application on their own laptops or on their own phones or the internet. When you start out looking for your first developer job, it is important that you have projects like this that you have done for your prospective employers to look at, because you will not have a job history in technology for them to look at. It's personal projects like this are important. Um, and then for this application, we'll be building out a website that is going to be very similar to propertypro.ng. Let's look at propertypro.ng. So, Property Pro is a Nigerian real estate website that allows you come on the website and just search for houses within certain areas. So I'll say I'm looking for house in Ikeja, and the type, I would say the type should be flat and apartment. I want a 2 bedroom place, and then I'll search, and then it gives me options of different houses, some very nice ones, some not very good looking ones, and then I can click here and say view property. And then so this is for 25 million naira, I think, in phase 2 Ikeja, Lagos. I can view the phone number for the agent if I want, probably put a call across to them. I can view more pictures of the building, and honestly this building looks good. And so this is kind of what we'll be building out. And if we go back to our schedule, we said that the site was chosen because it has many of the most common features that a software engineer is expected to develop in their day-to-day work. And what are these features we're talking about? If you check on this website, you notice that there's a login and sign up. So there's user authentication and authorization going on here. That is one. The second part about this is that actually multiple user types in this application. What we see now is not the entire of this application. So what we can see is the user facing part of this application. There's the admin facing part of the application too. That admin facing part is not available to us, so I don't have a link to it. That link is going to be private to whoever owns the site. And what that link is going to have them do is they can log into the back end of the site. So that is where they're going to upload these pictures from. All this house listing that we're seeing here, it's managed from there. And once the house is rented out, they'll log in from that back end and remove a house. So we see that now we have regular users and we have admin users, and we even have a third type of users, agents. So we have agents that are actually doing the legwork. So agents that go around and try to find vacant houses. And so I assume that an agent should be able to come on the site, sign up, and add his own houses. Now the view that the agent will see is different from the view that we will see, because an agent should be able to see the list of houses that he has added and the different people that have shown interest in those houses. So when we say it has some of the most common features you would get in a web application, that is what we mean. If we also notice, we're using the database is in play now because all of this information for different houses, for different people, the user information, all of that will be stored in a database. So we're going to be looking at databases, how databases work, what is the relationship with our data, what is the best way to store your data, what are some of the best databases to use, and some of those questions. These are all things you're expected to know when you show up for your first developer job. At least your employer or whoever is going to expect you to know these things to a certain degree, at least. Going back to our schedule, all right, so we have a weekly schedule, which is going to be updated from time to time. So for this video, we're supposed to be introducing the project, which is what I am doing now. So this is kind of what we're going to be building out. We're going to try to aim for feature complete. So when occasionally I'll drop some tech terms we use, so you don't hear it and it scares you. So feature complete means that we have created an application that contains all the features we said we will create it to have. So when we say we want to recreate this application and we say we want the version we are creating to be feature complete, that means we're saying we want the version that we'll create to have all the features that this current one has. So when I say feature complete, that is what I mean. I mean, we want to create a replica of this site that functions exactly like this site and have all of the features. So that's what feature complete means. So I say we'll introduce the project, project planning, outlining the features, overview of required concepts. So we just talked about some of the features that this site has. Let's talk about required concepts. The concepts that some of you have never worked with before, which is user authentication or authorization. So I don't believe we all know, any of us know, most of us have never done anything with users in a web application. So that is the concept we're going to introduce and learn here. I'm going to share a link to an article that's going to clarify authorization and authentication before we get there. And that really is it. Now, returning to this website, even though we have said that we're going to duplicate this website, right, or we're going to recreate it one for one, the truth is we actually cannot do exactly that, because if I scroll to the bottom of this website, there's a message here that says copyright 2019 propertypro.ng, all rights reserved. So what this means is that I can't exactly just come to this website and take stuff and use it without permission from whoever owns this site or whoever built the site. It says all rights reserved. If this was an open source project, and you hear about open source a lot, open source just means, hey, I have made this project and it is free for anyone to use. So when you hear open source, that is what it means. It means I made this project and I'm giving it out for free for anyone to use. This is not an open source project. So when you take stuff from a non-open source project and use, you can incur legal implications. So what are we going to do then? I have found a template that is also an estate booking template that is open source, so it's free, that we're going to be using for this series. I'm simply going to navigate to and while it's loading, I'll open this, so you can just pause and type this out in your browser. So it's teamwagon.com/team/free HTML5 real estate template download. So you can go here, and I'm just going to live preview it for now. Okay, great. So we see that this is also an estate booking website. It's, in my opinion, it doesn't look as good as Property Pro. The colors don't complement themselves well. But let's just go to templates and let's look at register login. And what we're looking at here is not a fully functional application. It's just HTML and CSS. So we call this a template. And as a C# backend engineer, this is how you're going to be working really. You're not going to concern yourself with writing HTML or CSS, and honestly, not a lot of JavaScript. So these are the responsibilities of a front-end developer. So a front-end developer makes the HTML and CSS and he gives it to you, and you then give functionality. So if I click register now, nothing happens. So because this site has no functionality, I don't think I can search for properties. But these are all templated, right? So these do not have functionality um, to them. There's no back end, there's no database, it's just all static content. So as a back end developer, you get handed a couple of HTML and CSS files by a front end developer or the front end team, and you give functionality to it. Now, because I've already downloaded this template, I don't have I have a different layout here than you would have. I just have a download free button. So for you, you would have to enter your email here and click download, and then a link is going to be sent to your email, and then you go ahead and you download it, you unzip it to anywhere on your system. For me, I already did these things, so I'm going to go ahead and open up the project. So this is a Garo Estate Master. I'll double click here, and then I'm just going to open it up in Visual Studio Code. Okay. Also file close. I had pen work here before. Close folder. So I'll just say file, open folder. I'll navigate to this folder and I'll say select folder. Then I have a lot of files here. I have index.html. So this is the template we're just looking at, but this is all HTML and CSS. This is the entire of that website we're just browsing, but it's just the HTML and CSS. There's no functionality to it. If I check the assets folder, you see there's a CSS folder, and this is all the styling on that page. Like I have said multiple times, this is how you get the user interface from a front-end developer, and then you can now start to build your ASP.NET MVC application using this UI. So what you're doing is giving functionality to this UI. I'm going to right click here and I'll say copy path. I'll take it to my browser, paste it in, and say enter. Now, if you notice, I have the same website. I still have the property pages and all of this, but this time I'm not browsing on the internet. If you look at my address bar, you see this is pointing to C users v1 repo. So this is native on my system. It means I have those files on my system. And when I'm developing my application, if I want an index page, I can then copy this HTML and CSS to my index page and just give it functionality. So for example, I can now direct it, okay, when this button is clicked, I want you to go to this part of my application. When a user logs in, I want you to check their username and password in a database. If it's not there, I want you to display user not found. And those are some of the things we're going to be doing here. All right. Good. Some other things we'll be doing is we'll be looking at the cloud, hosting the application on the cloud and all of that. So I'll need you guys to go head over to this website that I highlighted here and download this template. Next thing is you are going to need a Microsoft account. So if you don't already have a Microsoft account, please go to outlook.com and create an Outlook account. So I have an Outlook account already. I use v1 at outlook.com. So go and create an Outlook account. Sorry. After creating an account, go to portal.azure.com and use your Microsoft account to create an Azure account. So we're going to be hosting our applications on Azure. Azure is a cloud services provider, and we're going to be talking about what a cloud services provider is in our next video, why we use them and how to use them. Most of these things sound like very big concepts. It can be intimidating for a beginner, but the truth is they're really just simple things, right? And we're going to be breaking all of it down. Um, let's see. All right, so we're going to stop this. I'm going to stop this recording here now. If you don't understand anything, because we have a smaller group of people now, it can be more focused. So I'll actually be able to respond more personally to requests and questions. So post your questions on the Slack channel. Try not to send me questions directly. I'll prefer you put your questions on the Slack channel, so then I am not answering the same questions for multiple people. I don't know if you understand me. So if two people come to ask me, hey Vincent, what is authentication? It's easier for me to just answer that question on the channel if you ask it on the channel, and then everyone that is wondering hears it, than for me to have to answer it individually for say 10-15 people. So please, when you have questions, try to post it on the channel using threads, and I'll respond. All right, thank you. In our next video, we're actually going to create a new project. We're going to set up a database, and then I'm going to introduce you to cloud hosting with Azure, and then we're going to actually deploy that project we've created to the cloud. The way we'll be working is at the end of each video where we work on our application, we push the application to the cloud. So we don't have to wait till we're done before we can see our application live. That's the plan here. So every major milestone we hit, or after every video, we push what we have at that moment to the cloud. And then if you want someone to monitor your progress, probably a parent, a prospective employer, maybe you're in school, your lecturer, you can give them the link. And then after each time you work on it, you can just tell them, hey, go check out the website. I added some things to it. And that's the way we'll be working. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm looking forward to really building this out, and I'm looking forward to people starting their careers in tech. Thank you.